The resource sustainability issue being covered in this film will be that surrounding the sub-branch of tourism that is ecotourism. Ecotourism is defined as tourism that is both nature-based and sustainable. Ecotourism is most prominent in countries that have ecological wealth to spare, such as Australia, the East African countries such as Kenya and Zimbabwe, and Costa Rica, who is the foremost ecotourism promoting country in the world. It is one of the biggest sub-branches of tourism with a global revenue of $77 billion, according to the EBSCO, and is an important source of revenue for many countries, especially those falling under the developing or third world status. The specific issue to be addressed is to find out if ecotourism is the big earning low impact powerhouse it is advertised as. The benefits of ecotourism are well advertised, as it can be found that it promotes conservation, raises awareness for environmentalism, and is a major source of income in ecologically rich developing countries, as seen by the statistics that show that the global revenue generated by ecotourism split between nature and wildlife related tourists is a very significant figure. As well as providing revenue from external sources, ecotourism also promotes the local economy, as a study conducted by Paul J. Ferraro for the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States shows that through the establishment of conservation zones and ecotourism practices, job opportunities such as park rangers and local guides opened, and improved infrastructure was established for the surrounding communities as tourism became more prominent. An example of this can be seen in the Bugodi wetlands of Uganda, as prior to the establishment of ecotourism in the area, the wetlands went largely underappreciated for their ecological value, being mainly used for chimpanzee research, and as a result was subject to encroachment by local agriculture. Through efforts taken by the Kimbali Association for Rural and Environmental Development, the site was marketed as an ecotourism hotspot, and the biological importance was allowed to be recognized, and revenue for conservation efforts was allowed to be allocated for the preservation and further research of the ecology that was present. The funds raised also went to aiding the local communities, as the farmers who were previously encroaching on the land were able to become guides and the infrastructure of the surrounding villages was improved. The study concluded that as much as two-thirds of poverty reduction can be attributed to ecotourism. The theorized mechanism for how this happens is shown.
Now. There are cases where ecotourism has gone haywire with, uncontrolled, unregulated, having an effect on where people are not educated well and then they leave behind litter or they disturb wildlife or they just do reckless things when they are within a protected area. So those are things which we should definitely try and scientifically manage, but I think there is a lot of potential for ecotourism and this is something that we should encourage. But
As stated in the previous clip, although the majority of ecotourism promotes preservation and conservation, it is not always the case, as the products provided by ecotourism heavily rely on the use of protected areas, where the management of environmental impacts are of concern, and the ecosystem in question being delicate and sensitive to the human impact. As a result, the influx of potentially millions of tourists in the case of Costa Rica to these sensitive sites have unintentional negative consequences, and when combined with mismanagement and the weighing of profit over environment, have the potential to severely damage the sites. An example can be found in Mark Dapin's report for the London Times, as he describes how in Costa Rica his reckless guide entered a reptile conservation park and harassed the animals for entertainment. These examples, while in the minority, show the potential for those in the business of ecotourism seeing past the importance of raising awareness about the sites, but instead seeing the monetary value of exploiting the flora and fauna that they are supposed to be protecting. Initial thoughts about ecotourism were glowingly positive, as all that is promoted is that there is no downside, as it is a significant source of revenue worldwide, promotes environmentalism, provides funds and initiative for conservation, and boosts the economy and infrastructure of the surrounding areas to benefit the local community, as shown in the Bugodi wetlands example. But upon further review, I discovered that for ecotourism to work as advertised, the proper rules and regulations need to be followed by those providing the service and by the travellers that wish to partake. If mismanagement and malpractice are allowed to take place, Ecotourism has the potential to do more harm than good, as stated by Dr. Hema Somanatha, who is credible as a scientist in the field and seen in the example written by Mark Dapin, whose report may be sensationalized as he is writing for entertainment purposes. Thank you for listening.